Do you want to be the healthiest version of yourself? And do you love learning new tidbits that inspire you and make it really actionable? Me too. Kiley joins me today. She's super special, you guys, because she is the girlfriend of my nephew, Bubba, and I adore these two. Kiley is a personal trainer, group fitness instructor, and health coach in Santa Barbara, California, and she wholeheartedly is on a mission to help people overcome roadblocks to achieve their unique health and fitness goals. She's all about simple lifestyle changes, nutrition, and curated workouts, and believes we can prevent chronic disease, optimize longevity, and be the happiest and healthiest versions of ourselves. She breaks it down today into bite-sized pieces with so many simple ways to invite more well-being into your life. Stay tuned all the way to the end for a great side dish of adventure inspiration. You're going to love this. I'm Carla Reeves, and this is Differently, a podcast where we explore the ins and outs of what becomes possible when we're willing to think, do, and show up differently to the moments of our everyday lives. I have a very special guest here today. I'm going to get emotional, I think, but this is Kiley. I'm so excited for you to meet her. She is the girlfriend of my beloved nephew, and they are just an amazing couple. And so I'm so excited to have conversation today with Kiley. Hi, Kiley.
Hello, I'm so excited too. Thank you so much for having me. We love you so much.
The feeling is mutual. So let's start with just the why behind the work you do and why you're so passionate about it. Why is all of this important to you? Would love to hear you start there.
Sure. So I would say it just kind of goes back to my own journey with health and fitness and getting really into it in like probably the first couple years of college after, probably not treating my body so right for a couple years. It's your first time away from home. Didn't have all of my, cooking skills down. There's alcohol. You're not eating as good. And I started to just not feel good and gained like a little bit of weight, like a lot of people do, freshman 15. But more importantly, I just didn't feel good. My energy wasn't as good. My mental state wasn't as good. And I got into small group fitness. I think the first group fitness class I took was at like 24-hour fitness. And I made it a habit. Started going a few times a week with a girlfriend and just started feeling a lot better. Started paying attention to what I ate, and then I started looking better. So it was just kind of realizing how important it was to be a part of my routine. And I just started feeling great. And as far as getting into it for my career, it was after kind of trying a job out of college that I didn't like, an office job. I was working for a big corporation, sitting with a headset on in front of a computer all day, realizing that this isn't really what I want to do. I think I want to be moving around, interacting with people, helping people. And I just started to think about what I was passionate about, and it was fitness and wanted to help others. And yeah.
I love that. I also just want to point out that, when we discover what we want, or we discover that we want to make a change, it usually comes from, not having that, or not feeling good in your body, or having a job that you don't like, right? I feel like it's so important to remember that the things that we don't like in our life, or the things that don't feel good, can be really great contrast and kind of pointing us in another direction of like, let's move over here and try something different, and this is going to feel better. And so I love that It started with your own personal journey. Like you said, you didn't just set out to have this be your job. Like there's a lot of meaning and there's a lot of passion behind what you do. I see it, on your social media and everything that you're doing. I can see that your heart is in it. And That's super important. So what is the fitness work that you do with people today? What does that look like? And what overall, like, what are the challenges people have and how do you help them overcome those?
So the work that I do today, so I do one-on-one personal training and I do group fitness. So I teach small group classes. They're not huge classes. They range anywhere from like 2 to 12 people. I would say I have like just my clients are so great. I don't have tons of challenges with them. I feel like they take instructions really well and they're great clients. I think people struggle with consistency. I think consistency and then I think obviously one of the biggest obstacles people have when they come into a gym is like they're trying to achieve weight loss. And, so much more goes into weight loss than just getting into the gym. I think a huge part of it is nutrition, like diet first. So getting people to understand that, like, it's so great you're coming into the gym and that you're here with me for these hours, but what you do outside of the gym is also very important, what you put into your body, how you manage stress, getting them to pay attention to things like sleep, stress management, diet. Those need to come, I think, almost first before fitness. So I think trying to get them to understand that is challenging. That's probably the most challenging part. So I think those things need to come first.
How did you build? Because consistency for sure. I mean, I hear that too, and I know that in my own life. Like I have to always be working at my consistency and ability to just show up and do what I'm committed to doing, even on the days that I don't feel like doing it. So, what have you found that is really supported you in your own personal fitness, and what do you help people? To gain more consistency in your life?
I would say for me with fitness, consistency was just how much it helped my mental state. Maybe at first I might have gotten consistent at first for physique, but then it goes way past that. Then it's like, well, this is more about just training my body to look better. This is helping me mentally and emotionally. Like I could be in a terrible mood and I go to the gym, put on my headphones, get my workout in, and it's like 180, like walk out of there in a completely different place. So I feel like that definitely helped me be more consistent. Also, it just becomes a habit. You're building habits, healthy habits. And once you do it enough and stay consistent, it becomes a habit that you just can't let go of. So it's, I don't always feel necessarily like motivated to go to the gym. I think we get so hung up on motivation when really it's creating habits that we just, we know we can't let them go because they're getting us to where we want to be.
I love that. And it's true. It's like it has to start, I think, with that commitment and sort of like, I always tell people start small, like start with 7 days and make a commitment. And then after 7 days, then commit again. And totally. I think you're right. At first, it's that commitment that you have to make. And then over time, the rewards are what keep you coming back. And then it does eventually turn into just a habit, like brushing your teeth. We don't think about whether we want to brush our teeth or we don't want to brush our teeth or we don't hem and haw over it. You just kind of do it. And I like to approach fitness the same way because there's so many ripple benefits of it.
Right. And it doesn't have to be anything crazy. Like you don't have to go in and kick your butt in the gym for an hour for it to count. It can be 20 to 30 minutes of movement. It can be even 15 minutes of movement, getting outside for a walk. It doesn't have to be a crazy gym session. It can just be, moving in a way that feels good to you, whatever it may be. I think people get, hung up on that too. Like they need to be doing these high intensity interval training classes or heavy weightlifting sessions, or when you don't need that, it can be a lot simpler and smaller.
I have been, I think since COVID, like before COVID, I was going and doing Bikram yoga like pretty regularly. And it was a pretty large time commitment out of my day, which made it a little bit hard. And I think during COVID, I started doing video workouts and I ended up like the last, I don't know, I think it's been maybe a couple months now. I've been doing just a 15, 20-minute workout like you're talking about on my phone. I just pull it up on my phone.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been doing that consistently, like weekdays for maybe like 2 months. And I have lost weight and I can see the results like in my body. And it's just 15 minutes. Like, I love that. That makes me
really
so
all
happy.
you need.
Small actions can produce results. And I think sometimes the time commitment is such an easy excuse that keeps us away from what we really want. Yeah. And I know you did a lot of videos and things like that during COVID to help people incorporate that into their days. So are you still doing that, or what does that look like? I would love if we could share a couple simple ways that people can get engaged in that just right from their home.
Yeah, so I am not doing that anymore. It was just something that my little studio that I work for was doing instead of the in-person classes, which was great. It was like they would probably range from like 40 to 50 minutes, which is a little bit longer, but kind of mimicked the classes that we did in person. Usually, some of it was body weight, some of it was dumbbells. I think most of our clients had a set of dumbbells. Not doing it anymore, but even still, there are some apps that I use. Like one is called Obey Fitness, one Aloe Fitness. And there's just a huge platform of at-home workouts, like ranging from, I think I use Aloe, but it has bar, Pilates, yoga, HIIT, weight, just small 10 to 15 minute, core or stretch circuits. So I feel like there are so many resources that people can use that will just fit into, your schedule and what you have time to do. There really aren't any excuses anymore. You don't have to join a gym. There are so many ways to get in your movement. Like you said, you put up your phone, find a little space in your house, and you could get it in.
Yeah, I love that. And if I do it in the beginning of my day, then there's not really a whole lot that can get in the way of me doing that. And I get it done at the first part of my day, and then it kind of sets the rest of the day up really well. So I love that. And
I miss getting to work
out early
in the mornings because I work early so much now. This morning actually was one of the first mornings I got to go for a little run. Because it really is a nice way to start the day.
Yeah, I love that. Even during those workouts, our studio was offering those too. And they would say, like, if you don't have weights, grab a canned food item, and use those as weights.
A water jug or something.
Water bottles.
Get creative.
Totally.
Wine bottles, I heard. Yeah, there was lots of funny, I feel like, at-home fitness stuff going on, but which is so great. So many of my clients would reach out saying, like, you have no idea how much this helped me through COVID. It was a really stressful, crazy year. And I think people realize that it's so important to take care of your body and, how much exercise does help with stress.
That's so true.
So, yeah,
I remember during one of the classes from our studio, she would say, if we can do hard things on our mat, we can do hard things off our mat. And it's so true. Like, it just really does support every other aspect of your life. So I love that. You do some cool stuff on Instagram. What is your Instagram? How can people find you? Because you share some little workouts on there.
Yeah. I had so much more time over COVID to do these videos and stuff. I need to be better about it.
I've kind of been slacking. That's all right.
Yes,
people
totally.
can look back and see. Yeah.
So it's evolution.Kiley, Kiley.
Awesome.
Evolution Fitness is the name of the studio that I work for. So yeah, evolution.Kiley.
Awesome. And we'll put that in the show notes. So let's kind of segue into this nutrition part of work that you're passionate about. And How does that play a role in your everyday life? And why is that important to you? I know it's important to you and Bubba both.
Yeah. I just think, it's kind of simple. Like we feel so much better when we're eating good foods, like physically and mentally. Yeah, we enjoy cooking. I would say it's, yeah, just feeling better and feeling better in your workouts, sleeping better. When you're not putting junk in your body, you don't have those like extreme highs and lows, like blood sugar spikes, then energy crashes. Yeah, and I would say just trying to eat a pretty balanced diet of whole foods and, a diversity, like eating a wide variety of whole foods, proteins, fats, carbs, trying to include all three of them almost in every meal. I feel like it's almost simpler than we want to make it sometimes. But I know, nutrition is not always, it's not an easy thing to tackle if, you have not so great eating habits, but.
Or teenagers that love fast food every meal.
Totally. And I was like that as a teen too. Everybody, it's kind of something that you grow into. I feel like I'm sure, I don't know. I totally ate like Panda Express, Burger King, In-N-Out as a teen, but also my mom made, we had at home sit down family dinners. So we still ate clean foods too, but you kind of got to clean it up more when you get older.
It's so true. Your body and your energy becomes so important. I know that's what has me really eating well now is the energy piece. And like you said, the way that you feel in your body, it just makes such a huge difference. So what little small tidbits can you share with us? Like, are there certain staples that you have in your kitchen or like simple dishes that you kind of go to again and again?
Yeah, I would say like we can start with breakfast. Breakfast, one of my go-tos is smoothies. I wasn't always into smoothies, but now they're just convenient because you can take them on the go. And it's a really good way to get in like some fruits and veggies. So kind of a go-to for me. I'll usually do almond milk or you do oat milk, kale, spinach, usually fresh kale or spinach. I don't like to do really frozen. Then I'll throw in some like frozen berries, strawberries, blueberries, a scoop of protein, and then maybe like a fat like almond butter or some seeds, which help you stay full. So I feel like that's definitely become one of my staple breakfasts. Or if I'm feeling like I need something like a little bit more, oats, some overnight oats. I know that's with some chia seeds, berries, again, trying to throw in that fat. Because the fat pairing carbs like oats it's good to pair with protein or fat. It helps avoid that big blood sugar spike. So oats with berries, maybe a nut butter, or just like scrambles, veggie scrambles, eggs, again, avocado, throwing in some fat. Those are some breakfast staples. Lunch, I like to do salads. I'm a big salad girl. Tons of veggies and then a protein. Yeah, some type of protein, some type of fat, nuts, seeds, avocado. That's definitely kind of, like I said earlier, trying to get protein, fat, and some healthy carbs in each meal. Dinner, same thing, like always some type of protein, fat, and carbs, brown rice, fish, veggies, throwing in avocado, olives. We've gotten super into, I think this is a good way to kind of like break up the monotony of cooking, is trying different food styles like Thai food, Mexican food, Indian food. Just, I feel like it's a good way to add variety into your diet, different spices, and it just makes things fun, and we get a lot of these recipes just by doing a little bit of research online. There's just like endless blogs and stuff for healthy cooking now. So just pop in online, picking something, trying it. And if you like it, you can kind of throw your own spin into it, and then it becomes one of your favorite lunches or dinners.
I love that. We're going to talk about your travels in a minute, but have your travels influenced any of the way that you eat or trying different things?
Maybe when we went to Thailand, we got very into like pad Thai and Thai food, and we took a cooking class out there, which was incredible. Gosh, I forget the name of the soup we made, but we made this killer soup with like coconut milk and we made our own curry from scratch, and so I think we got really into Thai food after that trip. Probably that's the only one that's really kind of made us come back and be like, wow, we want to try, something different.
Yeah. Well, some of your other treks are a little probably more simple for food when you're
eating
backpacking.
Freeze-dried food.
Don't want to carry too much weight.
They've actually really done well about making backpacking food taste really good. There's so many good options and healthier options. Like the ingredients on this last trip, we got some really good stuff. Like I think we had like a chicken fajita rice bowl one night that was so good. And yeah, backpacking food I feel like has come a long way.
Oh my gosh, you're making me remember. Did I ever tell you when Tom and I went to the bottom of the Grand Canyon and we brought all that yummy food and we literally had our first meal and it was so delicious. It was like chicken and mashed potatoes. And then we went to sleep and I heard something in the night and I woke up and a raccoon literally got our food for the entire trip.
No.
We had it all planned out for every day, all our special meals. So sad. Okay.
So did they not tell you? No, that's okay. It's like to hang your food. Did you get any instructions?
We did hang our food. The raccoon got it, but the problem was that when we went to REI, we knew we needed a rat sack and they were out of them. But one of the employees told us like a different scenario we could do and it would be totally fine. And so we trusted that and it wasn't fine at all.
No.
And that's
terrible.
Yeah, but those meals
nothing worse than
good.
not having food when you're out on an adventure. Like this last trip that we took, we didn't take quite enough food. And it's hard when you're out there and you're hiking and you need that fuel and you don't have it.
It had a huge impact. I didn't realize it at the time, but wasn't getting my mind wasn't quite right. Like I wasn't getting the nutrition I needed. And
it
changed the dynamic of our entire trip. It was still amazing, but yes, take a rucksack if you go to the bottom of the Grand Canyon.
Or a bear canister.
Yes, or a bear canister. I love the smoothie. I do the smoothie thing and I agree with you. I think smoothies are amazing for breakfast, especially when it's 115 degrees here. It's such a good summer breakfast. But I appreciate the almond butter idea because I didn't know to include like a fat that it would be more sustaining. So that totally makes sense.
Yeah, because sometimes smoothies, they aren't as like satiating as we need throughout the day. So including that protein and fat, I think is super important. And it just adds some good flavor. It makes it yummy. It kind of tastes like a milkshake.
How much?
And I do a vanilla protein. I do like a tablespoon. Yeah, you don't want to go crazy, especially because fat does have and nut butter is a lot of calories. So like a tablespoon, I think is good. You get that good flavor and
nice.
Scoop of protein too. Mm-hmm.
Anything else that you want to share about nutrition and your own journey?
I think just a few tips, like when it comes, not specifically for nutrition, but just eating habits. I think eating slowly and mindfully is super important. Taking your time to chew, giving yourself the time to sit down and enjoy a meal without distractions, I think is really big. So getting into that nice calm state before we eat, maybe drinking a glass of water before we eat so we don't overeat. Eating slowly will also help with that. But just getting into that space to just enjoy your food and take your time is really important. It helps with digestion. It's going to help you, prevent you from overeating. I feel like we all deserve that time to sit down and kind of just enjoy our food.
I love that. And I'm so glad you said that. I have you ever read the Slow Down Diet? It's
No.
it's not a diet. You would love the book. It's really about mindful eating, and it's such a beautiful complement to the work I do with clients, because it's really about being thoughtful and really tasting your food and enjoying your food, and
Mm-hmm.
it's a beautiful process. And it made me realize how unaware and how unconscious I am when I would eat. Like, because you're
Yep.
just busy and then we're cooking dinner, then we're sitting down and we're like hurrying through dinner. And
Yeah,
yeah, what a difference. So I love that piece.
definitely. And it's just finding meaning behind what you're doing. Like you said, like intention, and it will make you think about what you're putting in your body when you take that time to sit there and maybe pay attention to how you're feeling afterwards after you eat something.
It's so true.
Mm-hmm.
It's so true. Awareness and intention. And you, before we hit record, Kylie, you were talking about, kind of the why behind the nutrition and body is so much more than, how we look. And say a little bit more about what you were talking about, like what you see, like the overall picture.
So it's so much more than how we look. It's how we feel. Yeah, I mean, definitely. I think, like you were saying, it's about, yeah, how you feel. It's about energy. And it's kind of like I don't know, you're just training your body and your mind to be able to kind of deal with anything and overcome anything.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's a perfect segue.
That's kind of just it. Yeah.
It's a perfect segue to the adventure and lifestyle that you guys are creating. I don't know if you're intentionally creating it, but from over here, it looks like you have sort of an adventure lifestyle, and at least you've been doing some really incredible adventures. And so I would love for you to kind of take us into maybe a recent one. I would love to hear maybe one of your favorite memories of your adventuring, and maybe one of your most challenging, because I know you've done some really challenging ones too. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So I think it started with the trip we took to Spain with Bubba's family, the Camino de Santiago, that, long walk we did across Spain. That was my first big trip abroad and, to Europe, to a different country. And I feel like that's kind of what sparked it for us, just getting to be immersed in another culture and just see how other cultures are, how they interact. And that definitely sparked it. And we knew
I didn't know that.
More.
That's so cool.
Yeah. I think it's like your first time you go out of the country, and it's just like an eye-opening experience, People are different. People are so friendly. It might seem scary at first. It's not scary, especially when you're prepared. Like, you definitely have to be prepared, do your research before you go anywhere. But I think that's what sparked it. And then we just kind of kept planning trips. Like, I think Thailand was next, and that was right when I graduated UCSB, and that was the first time Bubba and I went off on our own, and we went for like a little over 4 weeks. So that was big. And again, I just think we just fell in love with it. Like, we were welcomed in by this really sweet family on this small island called Koh Lanta, and we felt like we became a part of this family within a week. We were playing games with them on the beach, cooking with them, and they were just so welcoming and friendly, and it just felt, I don't know, it feels good. Then you're on the other side of the world, like so far away from everything.
Is that where you had monkeys come right into your room? Like, I remember something about monkeys. Didn't you have an experience?
Oh yeah. Yeah, we had a monkey walk into our hotel room, and they're a little scary. Like, you think they're so cute, which they are cute, but they can be feisty. They're a little scary.
I bet. That's awesome.
But it was harmless. It didn't. Nothing happened. And so yeah, then we kind of made it a goal to just try and go on one of those trips every year. And I think what we would kind of do, it might be over like a glass of wine or two, we would just book a flight like 8 months out and be like, okay, well, now we're doing it. So
We're committed.
we're committed. And then we would then start to do our planning, slowly start to plan and then budget for it. But if you just do something like make that leap and book a flight, I just think that's like the best thing you can do, because we're always going to find reasons not to. Maybe that's not the right time, or I shouldn't, budget reasons, but you never regret it. Like, you always make it work and you'll never regret it, because I feel like what you get out of it is just so amazing.
I love that.
I would say,
because
Go ahead.
I love that because so often, like in our head, it's like, oh, we got to find the time, and what about work, and what about this, and what about that. But if you just set the date far enough advance, you kind of like set that big rock, and then life will line up around that big rock, that you've set. And I think that's such a great way to do that. I love it. I'm going to go book a flight.
And I mean, you kind of think about, we're only here once. If you just stay in your little bubble, like there's so much to see and so many people to meet. And I think it does really make you realize that for the most part, people are really kind. We get so caught up in the news and kind of hearing about all these bad things and bad people, but you go and travel, and everybody that we've met on one of these trips is so kind and welcoming and helpful. So I think it's just, we should do it. Now's the time.
I love that. So
for backpacking,
take us into one of the challenging moments.
Yeah, I would say those trips have been more challenging, but also so rewarding. When we did Patagonia, that was kind of our first big backpacking trek. And I don't think we were prepared for how hard it was going to be. Just walking miles and miles with a backpack on, it's just taxing mentally and physically. But also it's like just so rewarding. I think the thing with backpacking is you wake up and the only thing you have to do that day is carry your stuff, and everything you need is on your back to get to the next destination. So there's no, I don't know, it's very like freeing. There's no time constraints. You don't have to be there by a certain time. Like, you just have to get up and walk. You can take breaks as much as you need to. And it's just being out in nature like that it does something for us. It's good for the brain. Really good. So
true.
Yeah, but it's challenging. It's taxing. And we've started listening to all of these backpacking podcasts, and because we kind of feel like noobs and green in the whole backpacking world, but we're like, why is this supposed to be so hard for us? We're like dying out here, but we still love it. But even these very experienced backpackers, they kind of report the same things. It's like, it's always a challenge. It's always hard. It's never going to be easy, but keep doing it. I think just because, I don't know, just kind of like free out in nature.
Well, and the victory is wouldn't be as sweet, right, without the challenge. I mean, I remember climbing out of the Grand Canyon, and I mean, just getting to the top, like, it was the most amazing feeling. But had it not been so hard, had it not been so hard and so challenging, the victory wouldn't have felt so amazing either. Was there a moment in either your backpacking trips where you really had to like you were bumping up against your mind and really had to shift your thinking, or like challenge your thinking, or did that play a role?
Yeah, I think so. Like, I cried one night in Patagonia. It was cold and wet, and we had one of the showers at our campground, and the shower was cold, and Bubba had accidentally like taken my toiletry bag away, and everything felt really difficult. And I just like sat in the shower and cried for 5 minutes. But then I stopped and I got out and I was fine. Like you said, I feel like you kind of just need to allow yourself to struggle in the moment and just like feel what you're feeling and realize, well, I'm going to be fine. Like, I'm going to be okay. So you just got to keep going. So I think that I've had several moments like that where it's like, yeah, I don't know, like allow yourself to feel those things and allow yourself to struggle and realize, yeah, but just keep going.
I love that. That's great advice, not just for backpacking, but everyday life.
Yeah. And like you said too, with the reward at the end, it's not as sweet unless you struggle a little bit. I feel like that's how life is too. It's, it feels good to overcome things. We get stronger. We learn, we grow, we realize how strong we are.
Yeah, I love that.
Mm-hmm.
So as we kind of wrap up, is there anything else on your heart to share? Is there anything you want to, just kind of close with or leave people with? This was such a great conversation.
Oh, good.
So many
I know.
good
I loved
gems.
it.
Yeah.
I would say, and this kind of goes back to what you were saying, if you're wanting to start somewhere, whether it be fitness, I would just take a small step. Like it doesn't have to be something crazy. Maybe just start adding a little bit more movement into your daily life. Figure out what you like. Maybe it's, maybe it's a walk, maybe it's a short hike, anything counts. And I think one small step at a time is good. Like you don't have to tackle everything at once. So maybe start there. Once you start doing it consistently, pick something else. Maybe it's has to do with your sleep, going to bed a little bit earlier, or cleaning up your diet, just cutting out that one thing that you're having a little too much. I think just picking one thing at a time when it comes to health and fitness and trying to achieve your goals is super important. Like not having to tackle everything at once. And realizing that there's not one quick fix. It's just small little steps that become consistent that create sustainable change.
I love that. And that can apply with fitness or nutrition or even bringing more adventure into your life. So I think that's perfect.
Totally.
Kylie, so fun. Mm-hmm. Thank you so much for hanging out.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for tuning in to this episode of Differently. I hope it stirred your thinking, and I invite you to take one inspired action from something that stood out to you. If you want to hear more conversations like this, hit follow on your favorite podcast app. And if this episode could impact someone you know, please pass it along. Remember, new episodes drop weekly. See you next week.